Hey everyone, this is JD and Patu, the Dork Duo. We're playing the final part of the second case of the Great Strange Adventures. We gotta figure out what happened to Kazuma.
Yeah, what happened to our boy? Somehow, the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Susanoo-san took a deep breath, then gently slipped back the bolt.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
You! What are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? You both look unhurt. Good.
Yes, we're fine, thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship.
Yes, it appears to have been a false report, though.
Oh, how did that happen?
There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone thought he saw a ship ahead. The person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why he made an emergency stop. Everything is chaos! Passengers are screaming! Crew are running everywhere! And this first-class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Oh, I see.
Someone triggered the alarm? Does that mean that someone pressed that button outside?
Ah! You wicked intruder! Dressed all in black! You are the devil!
Sorry? Me? I've been called a lot of things before, but devil is a first.
You have my traveling case! How could... Wait, she
no.
didn't open it?
Uh-oh. What? No, we didn't touch it.
That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector! Yes? Arrest this man. I know he did it. He is a criminal. It is not enough that he has killed a man? Ah! And he is a stowaway as well. If Vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe?
Oh, wait. What happened to the screen? I cannot see. There it is.
What?
Freaking laptop. Cut it out. Okay, I'm back. I'm fine.
Oh my goodness. Take him away. He is a trespasser as well as everything else.
What do you mean everything else?
Stowing away, trespassing, killing. She is right. You're a devil.
Doesn't look good, does it?
There is cell below deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police.
Wait, a cell?
Please, Inspector Hosonaga, is there anything you can do? This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options.
Oh dear.
This is terrible.
This is a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately.
Okay.
This looks bad. What do we do?
Okay. So, what we have to do here is... find the dummy on the wall.
What in the world? Where is... Has he been here the whole time?
He is a great detective, after all.
What the... What are you doing up there?
I'm just hanging out.
Mr. Sholmes?
Why is he wearing the crown?
Why are you wearing that, man? That doesn't look like it's part of your outfit.
Naturally, I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles feels like on one's head. Have I not told you that as a detective, it is my business to know what other people do not? This isn't mere tomfoolery, my boy. Oh, no.
Well, why were you hanging from that hook before then?
Isn't it obvious? To properly assess the weight of the 20,000 rubles, naturally. I wish to determine if it would bend that conceited-looking hook on the wall, so full of brag and bounce.
Ugh. I never know whether to take this bad seriously or not.
Yesn't. Ah, you again. The great detective. Ah, Inspector. I confess I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently. Well, Might try looking for me somewhere other than a hook on the wall next time. What is your report? Speak! An urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing. Yes. The case of the curious murder that took place last night, here on this vessel, the steamship Buria, has been solved by me, naturally.
What?
Really? Yes. I've made all of the possibilities. No other explanations exist. So, allow me to illuminate all your minds. For I am about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case.
Hey, is this one of these?
You know what this means.
Deductions?
Ah! You've solved it! Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all knew it was possible for killing student boy this morning when we found criminal in wardrobe. It is a stowaway, and he has handcuffs to prove it.
You just slapped them on. I didn't do it.
The trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Because as everyone knows, the cabin door is bolted shut from the inside.
Yeah, but now we know why.
But they don't.
Oh.
That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin. Yes, it's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories. Da! Locked room! That is point! The room was locked.
Well, I can't deny that. There's no way the bolt could have drawn across from outside the cabin.
You are quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all. What? Oh yes, there's another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door. What other entrance? We never discovered one. Why, it gapes open mouth to you even as we speak. The ventilator man. The ventilator? Yeah! You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole.
That's because your arms is as thick as tree trunks.
You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening? It's not possible. Ah, but it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator. Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... Are you referring to the words Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary? 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Precisely, my dear madam. But what does it mean? What is a speckled band? The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. Oh?
Oh, snap. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing?
Shadowboxing, my dear boy, haven't you heard of it? There is a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready. What I am about to expose for you all to see will shock you to your cores. Open up your pores.
What the? Woof! Oh.
Allow me to introduce you all to the band, the Speckled Band.
A snake?
Indubitably.
Yeah, we kind of knew it. Yeah, we knew that. Mr. Sholmes, just one thing.
Pray, what troubles you?
Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? Looks more stripy, wouldn't you say?
Yes, you're right. I think in this case you have to call it the Stripe Band, wouldn't you?
Okay. Oh, oops.
You both see and observe, with distinction. However, do you not think that is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall? Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap?
How exactly?
Isn't it obvious, my dear boy?
No.
Oh, I think perhaps it is time I explain the intricacies of my train of thought. That train has left the station, my dude. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova? I'm sorry for the young man who died, but that is all. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. There are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts. Number one. Last night, your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number two. That same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life. No.
She turned as white as a bowl of rice again.
Rice.
Jones must be right. He's hit the nail on the head.
Of course I have. I am a great detective after all.
I mean, I guess so. I'm sorry I doubted you.
Me too. This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asogi.
It looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head.
I would advise as little movement as possible, Seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend in your neck. So, everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Here we go! The
great
game
deduction.
is afoot. Now let's see if he really has hit the nail on the head or not. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Okay, well, he's right there. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. Well, that didn't line up.
Yeah, no.
And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So, we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was that friend with which you boarded the vessel, was it not? Yep.
Yep.
Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us.
Okay.
Wait, hold up. So,
What's that mean?
that must be Stroganoff's snake then, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, he's
'cause-
had those marks on his face, like, since we met him. Like, they're kind of darker, but, like, that must be his pet or something. So,
yeah,
wait,
that would
if her friend isn't the snake...
then, oh. Okay, yeah, then what is it then?
And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written
Whoa.
observations on the night in question tell of a Speckled band. I don't think it has enough air. Mr. Stroganoff, could you please give it more air?
Thank you.
Whereas, regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? Okay.
What did she just reach for?
No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answers quandary even now, hidden behind your back.
What is that?
Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake-slowed skin. I don't think it's a snake skin.
Must be something
Evidently,
else.
after the subtle and horrible crime, this most deadly friend of yours shed its original skin. No. No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Neither do we.
Exactly. Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your then speckled friend slithered next door. Using the bell cord on the other side of the bridge, the serpent silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared a young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake whose markings change each time it slows its skin. I don't know about that. We were both like, A snake so dreadful, we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India. India?
Huh?
She's from Russia. She's escaping from Russia. Where are you getting India?
Yeah, we probably need to.
Unless an Indian snake was imported into Russia and she took it with her.
That's the only thing I can think
his
of.
second thing. Let's see how wrong this is.
Oh god.
Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter. The grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear that there are no visible signs of injury. Okay. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Nah, that's been rolled out, my dude.
Yeah.
Now, if we take that as fact, which we shouldn't, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm at the scene of the crime. So there is evidence. Oh no, could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased's body will prove the cause of death conclusive. Probably not.
No, but that is.
The almost, but not quite, imperceptible puncture wounds left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. Yes, the vestiges of a snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend. This makes no sense. She's right.
Sure doesn't.
There is no point feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. She did not hide! Oh, with the evidence. But she didn't hide that either, apparently. That's right.
Yeah, not
You had the evidence that links you to the victim's death. And that I was going to say, he suspected that she hid in the traveling case for the second time. Like, we proved the first time she didn't hide herself.
At first glance, it looks like you couldn't hide yourself in there.
Not even Ryunosuke could fit in there.
Yeah, and I'm small as heck.
When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically.
It's true.
Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt. You don't... It is telling the victim made note of a low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train your serpent friend. To... train? Indeed. You'd put the serpent through this ventilator and wait. After a period, you summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared not to have been dispatched, you'd release the snake once more. Do you deny the snake has undergone such training? It's not true! Having slid through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. But it's not poison. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt. My logic is infallible. Yeah,
Sure?
Something tells me he's wrong on many accounts.
Okay.
Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of the speckled band. Wow, he's right. Wow, he's so right. It's crazy how right he is.
Yeah. Everyone's just silent, like,
Miss Pavlova has treated her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor, you will observe a saucer of milk. That promise of food is the key to training any creature. Also, you might hear Patu adjusting his microphone for some reason.
Yeah, it kind of like was starting to trip over.
Oh.
Don't mind me.
No trippy mics here.
Incredible. Oops. You solved the mystery.
I sure did. Amazing. Your great deduction really lives up to its name. I see now why Herlock Sholmes has become such a household name. My dear man, it was nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done with one left hand. Huh?
Stroganoff, do you say that?
Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes? But of course. What's on your mind? It's just, about your deductions before, some things don't quite make sense to me. I welcome questions as to my method, and will answer both loudly and proudly.
Of that we can be sure.
That is true. Oh, well, good. First of all, snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family. You are well informed, madam. And reptiles, don't drink milk. Ah. It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So, I'm not sure it'd be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward. No matter. No doubt Miss Pearl will use some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example. The logic holds. Oh, does it?
I don't know about that.
Well, there is something else. Snakes have no ears. Ah. Yes, so I'm not sure it'd really be possible to signal to a snake by whistling. But madam, what are the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard of the snakes that dance to the sounds of a flute? I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements. Oh, I see. He had zero idea.
Oops.
No hands, no feet, no ears? These creatures are so inept to be practically useless. Yeah, they're just giant long idiots, honestly, and they're amazing.
Don't take it on the snakes, Mr. Sholmes.
There is one other thing. You have more? Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that a snake could manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins. They should try harder!
Sheesh. What do you mean?
This guy's crazy. Please don't get anything, Mr. Sholmes. The point is, even the snakes had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine a snake could have had a part in this.
I mean...
He looks so defeated.
Oh. Well...
Then wait, what did you cause him to see?
He said something that looked like a speckled man, but here's the thing that I'm wondering.
Mm-hmm.
She had that cloth in her back pocket, and it did look speckled.
That's true. I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh no, you don't mean...
She does mean, my dear boy!
Oh.
Yes, we need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest deductions, and turn them to the great ones they ought to be.
I had a feeling that was coming.
Look on the bright side. You'll have your handcuffs removed for this part.
I mean, I guess. Alright, let's give it a try.
Just what I was waiting for, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes. Right.
So, bless you, cast your eyes down to your wrists again.
What? You've done it again.
Your handcuffs are gone. What? Where'd they go? Fear not. I shall see them restored after our work is done.
I really wish you'd leave them off.
Nonsense. Now, everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. The game is afoot. Again.
Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes.
What am I holding? Why, my pipe, of course. So, let's just go ahead and skip to the part where there's an incorrect statement. Okay.
Okay, your aching heart. She does have a pain expression on her face.
Yes, that's true. She looks as though Cosmo-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind.
But you're not sure Mr. Sholmes has read her quite correctly, is that it?
Oh, I'm quite sure.
Could there be some other way to interpret her expression then?
Let's take a moment and really look very closely at Miss Pavlova. Okay, so obviously it's not her heart that's causing her pain, but...
Oh, okay. A claw scratch.
Yeah.
Yes! Yes, when you recall those hard events, that claw scratch smarts with pain.
Indeed, and simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Huh, it's fresh.
Yeah, so claw marks. Oh, okay. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch sometime last night?
When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I am sad, the pain from this wound is worse. Huh. And it is that very pain that evidences an inextricable link to the victim's death. Blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
So, her friend is a writhing serpent. We clearly know that's not true.
Yeah, it seems likely that the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except, snakes don't have claws, do they? I mean, they did, but not anymore.
Well, that's technically true, yes. No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which claws might grow.
Well then. Yeah, that snake isn't her pet. What is? What's the true identity of this friend of hers?
We should follow her gaze now, Hodo-san. That's where we'll find the answer. Okay, so she's...
Oh, the picture. Ah, kitty! Ah, look at the photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away.
So it was a little cat. And the bell ringing. It was a cat bell. What bell ring? Wait, what?
She's exceptionally good. Oh, that's you.
Oh,
Uh,
she's beautiful, isn't she?
yes, that's true. But personally, it's a little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Maybe we better take a closer look at this.
Well, I mean...
Kitty!
What else could it be
Oh.
at this point? Which would explain the scratch marks.
Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us.
Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear. Oh no.
The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you?
Ah! Dark is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind. Dark would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. Whereas, regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. So... wait, how then? What explanation can we give then, pray? What was the sight that fell upon the victim's eye last night? Yeah.
Okay.
That's your trying is the... Okay, so it's not a snake skin.
No.
Did you see that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back.
She just left it in her pocket. No one would have known.
Oh, yes. Ploys like that are Mr. Stone's specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced to reveal something.
I thought deduction was a specialty. Or maybe making me believe that was a ploy too. Oh, this is messing with my head.
Anyway, I find it hard to believe that's the skin of a snake.
In which case, it's just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back?
So...
Turn around, please. Thank you. Alright. Well, it is Speckled, and it is a band, but... what is it? It seems to be soft and fluffy. A long piece of cloth of some sort. And that looks like a handle at one end.
I think it may be a cat's toy. This sort is common in the West, apparently.
How's that a toy for cats?
Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You only need to wave in front of them, and they pounce to catch it.
That sounds positively adorable.
It is.
It very much
And
is.
so now we know that it's definitely not a snake skin. In any
It is
way.
a cat toy. Yes, the thing you were trying but failing to conceal is a cat's toy.
Precisely, and the true nature of how the now infamous Speckled band. Ah! And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. To get her cat back? You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it.
Oh, but why? For what reason? Oh, I think I
My
might
dear
know.
boy, there can only be one answer to that. Pitu, if you'd be so kind.
Oh, I was gonna say like maybe the kitten like jumped up there and ran through the vent and she was trying to get him back. So she used the cat's toy to kind of dangle it there so he can come back. But Cosmo thought it was a Speckled band because of how it looked like.
Mhm.
That might be it.
So we solved the first problem. The second problem of how he died, though, is the bigger issue now. After her
Yeah.
feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use a Speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return.
Ah. Oh.
In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Dorka. Ka! A truly troublesome feline young Dorka's proving to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova.
Okay. Gotcha. Oh.
It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand, and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Dorka, she is so naughty. Huh. So...
Yeah, I think I...
So how... Okay, the thing I'm running into, and the part I don't remember, is how Asogi died. Because, obviously, it isn't a snake. The cat couldn't have possibly done blunt trauma. It's a kitten anyway, but...
I have one idea, but it might be kind of stupid, though.
I mean, look, it can't be more than what Sholmes is saying.
Oh, well, okay. So, my guess is... Well, we already know that the cat's toy was the thing that Cosmo saw. It
Yeah.
was not, in fact, a snake, so we could rule that snake out.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. But,
I think we can. It just seems like it just likes Stroganoff a lot.
Oh, okay, so, here's the thing. When we saw the cat had a bell on its neck.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that in order to make like I guess like to make somebody like come over there, we have to like either ring the bell or there's like a bell in the hallway that makes you have like an emergency stop, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, what if that bell that makes the emergency stop or makes someone come over there had the same type of ringing as the cat's bell, sort of. And maybe the sound like echoed through the vents. It's like, oh, somebody needs to stop or something. And while Cosmos was like inspecting the thing, it's like, oh, that might be a snake. Like maybe like when the ship stopped like abruptly, he might have slipped and, you know.
Oh.
fell and broke his neck.
Oh no. I think that might actually be what happened.
Oh,
That
dear.
sounds like that could be it.
Yeah, because that sort of seems like, but that doesn't explain like what that pink thing was
That's true.
on the ground.
Huh.
So I don't know. That's just. What
I guess we'll
think.
get there maybe with this. Who knows?
Yeah, well, we have to take apart his deduction, I guess. Okay.
Okay, so
No.
we know
Ter-
that it's not a terrible venom. What Mr. Stone says is true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on Cosmo-sama's body.
That's right. But Mr. Sholmes seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Cosmo wasn't poisoned.
Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information he's missing now. Well, I mean...
Yes!
We were given a second copy.
Yeah, might as well show it. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report.
Ah, yes. I knew it was one or the other. You liar!
You need to be sure about stuff like this.
I am sure it was one or the other. His neck was... Indeed. The breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong to survive that.
Seaman Stroganoff isn't some sort of immortal freak, you know.
Are you sure about that? The jury is out. Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it's seen the crime. Yes, we know this part already. Moving on.
Okay.
So, the deceased body does not prove the cause of death.
Yeah, Cosmo died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something, or someone.
Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found, though.
Presumably, Darko didn't silently creep up behind Cosmo and deal him a fatal blow. No, she couldn't have done that. She's just a kitty.
I will say, assuming that your line of reasoning is correct, that he did fall and break his neck, why is he positioned like that and writing in Russian?
That does seem kind of weird.
I suppose. It's possible he had to fall and hit the ground awkwardly. It could have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident.
Oh, yes. A bad fall could explain it.
It's rather hard to believe of Cosmo-sama, though. He wasn't a clumsy man.
No. Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened?
I think so. Okay, so, Patu, what do you think? Do you think this would be it? I mean, this would explain how he just slipped?
Yeah, cause... Oh, yeah, look. Wait, look closely at that thing. Like the, purple
this?
thing.
Looks
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that looks like a bell. The same bell that was on, the cat's neck.
Maybe.
So, maybe,
Do you
like...
think he slipped on the shoe polish and the fact that cats like to be around people's legs?
Yeah, like he probably crept up behind and was like, what the... And then... It is broken, too, so he could have stepped on it and broke it.
That's true.
Yes! Examination of the mark of the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively.
This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish? Indeed. Positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course.
Ah.
Beeswax, tallow and dye are my results. The undeniable ingredients of shoe polish.
Yeah, that's why he said shoe polish.
Ah.
And the color of this polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Osagi's lace leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Osagi must have caught his foot at that point on the floor and tripped.
Please, no. And, by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant, he lost his life. No! I don't know. I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, but you do. Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Osugi lost his life?
Yes, the facts were as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal this incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays a hiding place you chose. Which, this is still wrong.
Okay, so it's not in there.
I don't believe it. Cosmo-sama merely tripped over and now he's no more? It can't be true. I refuse to accept it.
But that's what happened. I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened.
But...
And that this part of Mr. Sholm's deduction is right. Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin, somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes.
Where, I wonder?
Let's have a good look around. The answer might be here somewhere.
Okay. About behind here. Probably
Okay,
not the tiara.
No, not there. Is there something else up on that shelf? There's a trash can. Or a waste paper basket.
Huh. Anything in here? This is a waste paper basket. Perhaps all that first-class cabins have them.
Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin late last night. Presumably there's not much rubbish in there yet. Oh, what's this? The other half of the bale.
It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. We
If
have.
it looks familiar, perhaps it's more in your mind simply playing tricks on you. Well, let's see then.
Yes!
So...
That's right. You hit the evidence that links to your victim's death in that waste paper basket.
Ah! Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object, it would seem. One that has familiar air, in fact.
Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Osugi's cabin. And as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly.
Oh no. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the waste paper basket in your cabin? Kya! You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not? I don't know, and that hushed Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. What? Take it away, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes. The evidence linking to Miss Pavlova and the little glass bell, that would be, yeah, the picture of the cat.
Yes!
Well, her and the cat.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Dark's collar, the very glass bell in question.
The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall.
And the cause of that fateful stumble? Your absent feline friend, Darka.
Darka. I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry.
I mean, you didn't kill him. Now the cat, though, might
The
have
cat should
to-
be tried!
Yeah,
and
the
then
cat needs
shot
to go
and
to the
hung, and then
gallows.
shot again.
Ah, deduction complete.
Elementary, my dear Mr. Naruhodo.
Dang, so we just tripped then. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. If you tell us, you get in as much trouble as you think.
It
Well,
was
except for bringing the cat.
a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments.
Yeah, you can't put them in the car. They freak out.
She was so fast. She disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her. And that is how you acquired the rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it. Yes, and I had read the, rules on the wall. I knew that I was not allowed Darka with me. Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really. So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure. If someone was there, he must be sleeping. So at that point, you thought it safe to try to lure the kitten back again. By taking the end of the toy through the ventilator and into the adjoining cabin. Dark always loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using your favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return. Oh, that explains the whistling sound Kazuma heard.
Ah. So the faint whistling sound Kaza wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet.
Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened.
That is true.
Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. But then... Ooh.
Oof.
I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out, and then... it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent.
Cosmo was... Well, no one shot him.
From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping onto the glass bell and tripping up. The SS Brody is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. If Mr. Asagi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet, the combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. But what became of the kitten afterwards? In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator. Yet Darka is nowhere to be seen.
The snake eater?
Must have forgotten to lock my case. I don't think the snake ate it. And now she disappeared again. I'd like to believe that's not what happened, at least. Gracious, that cat is as unsufferably restless as I am.
Well, he knows something about himself at least.
When I woke this morning, I heard that a young man in the cabin next to mine had died. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back.
Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake?
You're right. Where is it?
Oh no. If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it and where did it come from? What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing aboard the ship?
Oh, I didn't say. Snake is my friend. His name is Pirosco. What?
What?
That snake belongs to you. He escaped from cage when emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here.
Yes, how did that snake get into this cabin?
But animals not permitted on board. Ah! We have to sea for 1 year. You want to be so long without close friend? without someone who understands?
Can't you find someone a little more human who understands you better?
But my dear burly fellow, a gargantuan venomous snake. Surely you can appreciate the danger of putting everyone in. No venom. Pirosco does not have venom. He is harmless, very long but very gentle. He is adorable like Granny. It's venomous.
I mean,
Yes. Now he is hungry, so he is in bad mood. Once I feed him, you'll see big smile.
and you feed him what? Milk, I suppose?
No, kitten.
What?
Ha! Like they say milk chickens? Ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. Pirosco eats mouses. Big, fat, round mouses.
Ah. Oh, so is that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there was for?
Oh, of course. How else can I catch my friend's favorite food?
Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now.
Once again, Sholmes is defeated. It
Ugh.
refuses to drink milk, it can't hear a whistle, it can't climb up a bell cord, and it's not even venomous. How the deuce did something so inept land a starring role? It's not my fault. I do not make up stories. My Pirosco has nothing to do with this incident.
So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. He tripped. Still doesn't make anyone feel any better, though.
No, it doesn't. Miss Pavlova. I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover your guilt with lies, then no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. But what are you talking about, Miss Mikotoba? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. It was just a series of unfortunate events. An accident. He knows something. I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that was not the truth. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo?
What? To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure of it. I just can't quite put my finger on it.
I confess. I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter.
Oh,
I'm only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction.
a distraction?
I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable.
What the?
I told you I'd put them back on.
Not again! When did he do that?
Especially as they are on your wrist as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call.
You were... Mr. Sholmes?
Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours, was he not?
Yes. Cosmo was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom. I owed him my freedom, even.
In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes. Whatever that may be. The key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. The truth about how you really died. And about that scene in your cabin really came to be. Alright, I'll see what I can do.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo. So then, shall we begin?
Yes!
What we should ponder first is the victim who lost his life in a cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. Was this truly an unfortunate accident? Or was it in fact no accident at all? That's what we must establish in the first instance. But we already established it, haven't we? The man tripped over the kitten that had climbed into his cabin via the ventilator. Tragic, yes, but still an accident.
Hold it!
Oh,
Wait! Let's just take a step back. It doesn't make sense if that's really what happened, does it?
I'm going to have to ask you to spell it out for me, I'm afraid.
Yes, starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction between the facts and Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right there. Oh yeah, the evidence is right there in Cosmo's cabin. It's undeniable. His death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident.
Really? Let us show our hand, Mr. Naruhodo. Time to present the evidence. The evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident. So remember how it was like, isn't it weird how he fell over, but there was like, he fell in that position and there's writing and everything?
Yeah. That's still, yeah, so that, so it must have went back to the other thing then. Like the ship might have stopped.
Yes!
See, the truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. There's no way that Mr. Osaki could have left the message on the floor.
That's script.
That script.
It's Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is. The word written means wardrobe. I see what you mean. Most people leave a dying message in their native language. Japanese, in this case. I thought he was Russian. Oh, come on
No!
now.
How in the world would you figure that?
But maybe he was studying Russian.
That's what you want us to believe.
It is a simple language. He could have picked it up very fast.
That doesn't seem likely.
I'm going to England. Let's study Russian.
That's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not.
Sorry? What do you mean?
Exactly what I said before. There was no way that Mr. Osaki could have left this message on the floor. And the reason why is clearly explained in here. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. Instant death. Oh, yeah. So he wouldn't have time to do it. He would have just died on impact.
Yep.
So, somebody wrote the message and made it look like he was writing it.
Yep.
See, which means after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't possibly have written anything. Because he was already dead. Omae Shinderu.
Nani? That's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mr. Asaki's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there, if what Miss Pavlova told us was true. What?
So Sanis noticed it too then. Putting this message on the floor aside, there's something else that gives the truth away. Another piece of evidence that proves there's no accident. In other words...
So remember that bell?
Yeah. That is weird.
Now how did that end up there?
This piece of broken glass next to the mark of the floor.
But that's the glass bell the kitten had around its neck. We already know all about that. It was broken in half and the victim tripped over the cat and fell. So here I have a satisfactory explanation. Where's the flaw in that logic?
Unfortunately, there's a big flaw. A fatal flaw.
What?
I'm still not saying it, but I like what's happening so far. If that's really what happened. And how did one half of the bell end up back here in this Oh, yeah. So she was probably in there the whole time then.
Ah! Yes, remember that we found the other half of the glass bell in that waste paper basket. Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova? Oh, no.
Both pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. That when Mr. Oski died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. It wasn't me, though. The same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth, in order to cover up his or her own guilt.
Yeah! Yes, there was someone else present, Mr. Osagi's.
You are wasting time! Someone else was there? Ah, of course we know this!
What are you talking about?
Bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. There was no way in or out.
Oh, yes.
And only other person in cabin who, when young student died, was you.
Yes!
It's true. I was in the cabin when it happened.
You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise about the details.
But I don't know Russian. There's no way I could have left that message.
Not would have. There's no way you could have left that message, to be precise about the details.
Would you mind?
Forgive me, my dear fellow.
As I was saying,
Even if he didn't know Russian, why would he write wardrobe? Yeah, like...
and then jump back in the wardrobe and
Yeah.
just go to sex to sleep. That doesn't make any sense.
I'm guilty! Oopsie.
Is it the person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor? In an attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been sleeping there the entire time.
And then, the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen to the floor, for fear of becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Osuki really died. But why wouldn't this person have taken all the pieces of the bell away? Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions.
Yes, well,
It was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. The single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would barely have cast any light on the floor there. Little wonder, then, that the culprit failed to notice a fragment of the tiny item. You all suspect me, don't you?
what the... Seaman Stroganoff?
Nina is woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join ballet company. But before, she was dancer on the ship, a member of ship's band. You do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal.
Ah, so that's it.
You say that when young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. But that is not possible. I give my tooth.
Well,
Get the
this is all
pliers.
most interesting. I have him right here.
Yeah, hold him down.
You hold him down, he's huge!
Ah,
Why
he
would that?
crushed me.
Why would you give your tooth, pray? How can you be so sure?
You are a great detective. You should know. Look truth in eyes. Cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. Nobody could go into cabin. Not Nina, not anyone. Or you want me... Or you want to tell me the killer can walk through locked doors? Niet, it's impossible.
Ugh, he's right. No, he's not.
But wait! I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie thread around door latches so they can open and close them from the outside.
Thread? Are you stupid? These bulkheads are not barn doors.
Certainly not. These are watertight doors, as one would expect to find on a steamship. Constructed of heavy steel, with not a gap in sight, no threads or needles or magnets could have been used. No, of course not. I thought so too. But Mr. Naruhodo suggested earlier, so...
Son, how could you shift it on me like that?
So Seaman Stroganoff has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been bolted shut from the outside. Not necessarily.
What? I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. And in this very cabin, we can see the traces of the method I have in mind having been used before. I don't believe it! Well, Mr. Naruhodo, I believe you know what I mean, don't you?
A way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside? Yeah, we know how that works. One way does spring to mind, yes.
Do you really know what Mr. Stones means, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, and so should you. Because we've seen it happen.
Indeed we have. So, would you care to be honest, Mr. Naruhodo? Point at the telling signs of the method that was used to slide the cabin door bolt across from the outside.
Yeah, the books, they're all leaned over because of the... Oh, or maybe not?
Hold on, what?
What the... Why ain't no go?
Hold on.
Yes!
Sorry, I don't know why I wasn't doing the... I think the crosshair is just for examining stuff, my bad. But you were right.
Okay, look at the bookcase there. See all the books and things on it have toppled over?
That must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before.
Yes, that's right. It's a very powerful vessel after all. When the engines are thrown into reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over.
I believe... Yes, it's what's known as the force of inertia, acting on the objects.
Is there nothing Susato-san doesn't know? Or if that is in her book, at least? Well, whatever it's called, the same force that pushed over those books on the bookcase also made something else in the cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door.
Ah!
It was very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come to this cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. But then...
Oh yes! That's it! When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door.
Yes, it's made of metal, but small and light enough to be moved by the ship suddenly. Oh, when the ship suddenly changes speed. Or the force of inertia, if you want to call it that.
Inertia.
Oh, inertia.
Are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Asuki was killed,
The SS Burya made another emergency stop?
When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves that's toppled over, and all the ornaments. It was almost as if someone had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over.
Oh yes, I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I?
Yeah, stop tampering with evidence.
Whoops.
Then when we came to this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like at Mr. Asuki's cabin.
Oh my.
You have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova?
Are you out of your mind? You say Burya made emergency stop! It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying the culprit is actually someone from the engine room. The engine room?
Oh, it is simple enough.
Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Used to trigger the emergency alarm.
Oh yes, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there? Telling you only to press the button in times of emergency.
On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm.
The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. Not that I wanted to, of course, but...
Yeah, that guy.
Wait! It was you?
It was him! When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interest of safety. The emergency alarm bell rings, and the vessel comes to a complete stop. As indeed it did a little earlier today.
You pressed the... Oh. I mean, I guess
Mr.
he...
Sholmes, surely it wasn't you who... As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed, whatever the occasion.
He sounds so proud of himself.
I am proud.
I mean-
How else would you figure this out?
That
How
is true.
dare you mess with ship? I report you to Captain. You are in much trouble now.
Now, I'm sure all that can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learnt a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin doors slide closed. So, what we must now consider. Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Gosh dang it. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Asaki, did this ship make an emergency stop, or did it not?
You are idiots. Buria's huge ship with many passengers. If we make emergency stop, even in the middle of night, there would be chaos everywhere.
What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea.
Really? What evidence, Mr. Naruhodo? Fascinating. Do show us, my good man. What evidence promotes the theory that some emergency gripped the vessel last night?
Yes, the report from last night, because nothing was recorded.
Yes!
Seaman Stroganoff. It's your duty to patrol the first class area of the ship, is that right?
That is correct. Why?
In the ship's log here, this would be where you record the details of your duties?
What are you doing with that? That is mine!
You rather carelessly left it atop the little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care with a mind to return to you later.
I left it there on purpose. That is where I put it always.
The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances, you write the phrase "nothing to report" every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until the first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all.
Nothing recorded in the log.
That is... because nothing happened.
But if nothing happened, you would normally write "nothing to report," wouldn't you?
Good.
Indeed so. Which tells us that shortly after 2 a.m., something happened here aboard the SS Buria. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to film the ship's log, in fact.
Uh-oh.
Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night?
Stop talking rubbish.
But what happened?
If I'm perfectly honest, I find it a little hard to believe myself.
Oh? Why?
Well, because if something as major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine anybody would sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of night. Oh, what are you thinking?
That might explain their headaches, though. Like, I don't know. Well, no, that's a good point.
What of the throbbing? Sorry, what do you mean? Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since the morning. We have all suffered with it. Ah! Oh,
Yes, I have had a headache, you're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today.
Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn.
Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected.
He's right. My head's been throbbing today, too. And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. I can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. And the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. Had already been dragged out of the wardrobe and had those handcuffs put on me. Why didn't I wake up when all this was happening to me?
Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo. You boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you?
Oh, well, yes. Sorry.
The stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on?
Oh, well, Cosmo looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals.
So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it?
Yes, in fact, I had all of that. Cosmo wasn't fond of chicken.
Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all?
That's right. He didn't touch it. Is that relevant?
My dear fellow, does that not strike you?
Oh,
Oh,
Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken?
I do.
no! Really? Is that really true?
The meal prepared for the passengers last night has been tampered with.
Ah,
Tampered with by the addition of a soporific, designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it. A sleeping drug.
do you mean whoever did this laced every meal with sleeping drugs so no one would notice the ship's emergency stop?
Mr. Naruhodo, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea.
Precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be impossible. Unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator. What?
Mr. Sholmes!
Whoa!
Well, seaman. I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there would be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew, and the captain himself, would be hauled over to the coals for aiding and abetting a renegade.
Whoa.
Ooh, hit the nail on the head, he did.
Man, this guy may be goofy, but he's smart.
Please, no more. I will tell everything.
Ugh!
I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore.
These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe.
Yes. So when I decided to run away, I asked him to help me.
We all agreed to help. Everyone together. She threw away everything. Her fame, the ballet, Mother Russia. We want to help our angel.
Whew.
I don't believe it. You are right. We put sleeping drug in chicken last night.
Yes, I remember now. I did notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point.
Duh. We cannot make all drug. How do you say, dissolve?
Ugh. Talk about heavy seasoning.
At midnight, in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by a comrade on shore with a small fishing boat.
While all the passengers of the SS Bodia slept soundly. thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion that evening meals had contained.
So, if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who disliked chicken, then the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop to stop trick to lock Cosmo's cabin to... Dang. Jeez Louise, that...
She tricked that emergency stop, how dare she?
Yeah, you deceived it.
Yeah. How does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case, and there would have been complete chaos. Oh, I wouldn't say so. What?
Yeah, of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in the cabins. After which, they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug.
Quite. And accordingly, all the passengers were already in their cabins for the night. Yes! The overwhelming majority of passengers would habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway. And so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning.
Yup.
You have talked a long time and said many things. What is point?
The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian, on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that reveal the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door, and I'm not talking about myself. All told, a busy night. But... I don't know about any of this. I'm just a little girl.
You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I'm sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories we don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes.
A laudable trait.
What?
I am quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruhodo.
No, yes?
Do you hear it? That accusatory cry of guilt on the wind. What accusatory cry of guilt?
Sorry, you've lost me.
Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear such a call with your ears. No. You must hear it with your eyes, for observation is the basis of all deduction.
What are you talking about?
I believe the time has come. For one final logic and reasoning spectacular to expose the truth.
Ooh,
Oh,
here we go.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, your assistance, if you please.
With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes?
With observation, my dear fellow. Just as I said, of these two prevaricators. That's a long word.
Yeah, I don't think I could have pronounced it either. Observation.
If you remember, Mr. Naruhodo, we know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Osuki's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two were there when it happened. Precisely. You are delightfully quick to grasp my meaning.
Alright, I'll see what I can see. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Cosmo died.
Alright, so let's see. Okay, so...
Wait, what did they say about his left ear?
Huh? Left ear?
Yeah, that guy's left ear.
What about his left ear?
Wait, go back up to it. No, that's his right. His left.
That is his left. Oh, wait.
No.
Nothing.
Oh. Dang, I thought I saw something that showed up. But I can't see it. Oh. The ink stain.
Yes!
That's a little odd.
What'd you fall in the ink? Steven Stroganoff. You seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there.
Yeah? Ah, yes, I don't know where the dirt comes from. Gosh. Ah.
Ah, you okay?
Hold up, y'all. I need to take a drink of water.
Dry throats. This is the I guess like the double-edged sword of
Honestly,
commentary.
it's Stroganoff's voice.
Yeah.
It's so heavy and raspy. Ah. So nothing particular comes to mind about the stain.
What are you trying to say?
It would appear the significance of this stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain.
It's a very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform.
And I think what made it is clear. Indeed it is. So, Mr. Naruhodo, present the evidence that proves it.
My pleasure. Alright then, the evidence that proves what that stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform really is.
Okay, so... Remember how this is written in ink?
Yep.
Purple ink, specifically. Looks like someone did something.
So you wrote it then. Yes. It's this photograph, and the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform.
Ink?
A rather unusual color of ink, purple.
Ah!
Ah, the penny drops, at last. Now you see the significance.
The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of your uniform is ink of exactly the same color.
I guess Seaman Stroganoff woke up to a bit of a purple haze.
Mmm.
Boo.
I hope you guys got that one. I did.
I get it. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way. Which means... you must have been present in the cabin, moments immediately after the ink was spilled.
Alright, yes. It was me. I did it. Everything.
Yep.
I arranged everything in Dead Student's cabin to make it look like Wardrobe Man did it. Then I pressed button to make Booty do emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel.
Biff, please.
Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. Even though my voice really hurts. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty, patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like sheet. She said, holy sheet. This sheet has holes in it. I didn't know what she meant, but I think it's some sort of, how you say, whatever.
Abbreviation, maybe?
No, euphemism, that's it.
Okay.
Biff, please, you must help me.
I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw a student boy on floor. What happened here?
Please, don't tell anyone. My little one. My little furry friend.
Everything that happened in cabin is like Angel told you.
The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Osaki's cabin. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell to the floor?
Yes, that is right.
So after the incident when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers, only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the floor.
She said she was worried when she heard sound of something falling on the floor. That's when she went to look. No, Angel? The door was not locked, so she opened to look, and you already know what happened after.
There's just one thing, if you wouldn't mind.
What?
When you went to Mr. Oski's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why?
I already told you! When Nina opened Dorks student's cabin and looked inside,
I was asking Miss Pavlova.
Well, Miss Pavlova?
Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark, and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you.
So is this finally it now? Have we discovered the real truth about Cosmo's death at last?
Ah! Something very nearly slipped my mind.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes?
Yes, I'm still here.
Yeah, he's just been listening and observing.
This photograph. Yes, I took this myself, you know. The cause of death was a broken neck. Therefore, the victim died instantly. And the unfortunate incident that precipitated these events, a kitten on which the victim stumbled. However, if those are the facts, there is one particular error in this photograph that seems to me somewhat unnatural.
what do you mean unnatural?
What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, well,
What?
Cosmo tripped and fell, and by some terrible stroke of bad luck broke his neck. Which part of this photograph print seems unnatural? Well, if he tripped, wouldn't he be face? Oh wait, no, he wouldn't be face down. Would he fall? What, falling forward break your neck, or what, falling backwards break it?
So, I remember being stuck on this part when I first did this, and it's to do with his hands. Obviously, you know, Biff Stroganoff made his right hand look like that, but why is Cosmo's left hand in a fist?
Oh, yeah. Typically, if you fall, you would try to catch yourself. You wouldn't have your fist balled up.
Yep.
Yes!
So, why is this? Alright, if he really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then his fist just doesn't seem quite right.
The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall, one's instinct is to open the palms flat.
Yep.
Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost, you might say, as though he were gripping something.
What do you mean?
Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago.
You did?
Yes, I had to be busy while you were talking. And
What
what, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow? Mr. Sholmes, show us, please! Why, of course, my dear madam. Would I keep you in suspense? I mean, obviously a little bit, but not forever. This is what I found. Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle. Yes, you're right. A crescent moon. It's very pretty, but what does it tell us?
It tells us nothing.
I'm not so sure. That crescent moon looks... It looks familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. Yeah, that does seem familiar.
It does?
A little bit.
Observation,
Hey.
Mr. Naruhodo. That is the key.
What?
The truth is now tantalizingly close.
How did that crescent moon comment that caused my clenched fist?
This is a final clue, the last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe. Find the answer with your own eyes.
So, you mentioned someone's left ear a while ago.
Yeah.
You didn't see it on Stroganoff, though.
Oh. So I must have saw it on, yeah. That's what it seemed familiar. So she was in the room then.
That's right.
Her earring. Miss Pavlova, on your ear there. I see you have a crescent moon as well.
Ah! What?
And on your other ear, there seems to be a crescent moon missing. The little link holding it there must have broken, I suppose.
Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there's only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes. Miss Pavlova, Mr. Ozaki must have grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps just moments before he fell to the floor. In other words, last night in Mr. Osaki's cabin, you witnessed the moment when the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him. You didn't pull him up. Sheesh. But then the question is, why did Mr. Osaki do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold in his clenched fist during the final moments?
Oh no.
Angel?
No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma?
Hate!
Oh, wait, who's this?
You.
Is this me? Oh, I think about everything that happened yesterday. Oh,
I don't know who it is.
that
It
might be Pop.
Oh, it is.
Oh, okay, it's Pablo. Okay.
Ah, it's fine. Running away. A fishing boat in the middle of the night. Trying to climb onto this huge ship. And then, when I was at last in this cabin and I could relax after this horrible long day. Darka, wait! I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy, but nothing worked. Dark would not come back. What are you doing at this time of night, Inspector? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. The young man from your country. He was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darka, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again, I was going to leave the man's cabin.
Just a moment. Sorry, but
Oh, yes?
I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before.
Ah,
Ah, of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina.
huh? No, I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land in the faraway east know a Russian ballerina?
Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The debut of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But What are you doing on this ship? I'm sure that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment.
I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice.
I see. So you've run away.
Please, please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone.
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here.
He's going to pull that cord. He's going to tell the captain. Why do I think I could trust him? Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait! I shouted. And then... Dark had jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. And... as he turned around to look at me... Oh!
Oh,
I pushed him.
bro, you pushed my butt.
I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And I had to stop him from telling anyone about me.
Killed him. And that's when you went to fetch help from Seaman Stroganoff, who was on duty out in the passageway.
I heard Nina cry out and thud on floor, so I ran to her. She was standing at cabin door, shaking like leaf. She looked at me and said,
Help me, Biff. They find out, I'll be... Please, I have nowhere to go.
So you decided to help. And that's when you arranged things in Cosmo's cabin to make it look like I did it. So that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door?
yes. I went into the cabin and looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. And then I found Stowaway, in wardrobe, still sleeping.
Right. That's when he found me. So you can take the cuffs off now, right?
So he worked out a plan. To lay the blame on the stowaway.
The second Stowaway.
Yeah.
I closed wardrobe doors and put back strange paper sign.
Luckily for me, that's the only reason why Susato-san started to believe me when I said that I was innocent.
I dragged young man's body to a good place and used ink that was spilling to write on floor. I wrote, that, so that person who found would look inside wardrobe and find Stowaway. Why is this word in Russian? No one can speak Russian who plays this game in English. That's stupid.
That is...
They can only do half attempted Russian accent. That'll offend absolutely everyone.
And tell me, what of the
Sheesh.
glass bell? It was by my feet, so I picked it up. I see. But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half.
Then Angel went back to her cabin, and I finished job.
By pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway?
Yes.
Accordingly, the SS Budia did indeed come to an emergency halt at a little after 2 a.m., thus enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery.
We've come full circle.
Yup.
It's not a good circle.
There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova.
What?
Well, you said that you told Cosmo about the fact that you run away from your homeland. And it's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right?
Yes?
But even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew?
Ah, I didn't think about that.
Why would that have been a problem?
It was what he said first. That made me scared.
What he said first?
What are you doing here this time of night, Inspector?
Oh.
Oh. I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine.
So you thought he was gonna get the inspector, and that's why she
He
did.
said Inspector was his friend.
Ah! Yes, meaning me. It was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard.
I thought the police knew about me. They would arrest me. So before he could pull the bell cord, I... May I stop you at a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Oski really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know.
Probably not. I think he was probably just gonna get me, like
Yeah.
Ryunosuke.
What? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, I'm not Kazuma, so I can't know for certain, but he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done.
No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There's one more deduction to make.
What? Another deduction?
This game isn't over yet. Yes. What action was the victim really about to take at that moment? Can we determine where the young man's gaze was directed?
Well, yeah, I think we can.
First, consider the victim's location within his cabin.
That's easy. I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still. That cabin has been my home for this entire voyage.
So this is how the cabin looked last night when Miss Pavlova visited Kazuma-sama.
Yes, that's exactly how it was.
Are you ready then, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes. And there's one thing I've learned today. Is that a simple gaze can reveal all manners of truths. Not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out even a little bit when you're following the gaze to where it lands. So, when he turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Cosmo looking at? The wardrobe.
Take that!
Considering everything that happened last night, certainly it may have looked as Cosmo was going to ring the bell cord.
Yes. However, what is directly beside the bell cord? The wardrobe.
The wardrobe?
And, more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly.
Miss Pavlova, please, think back very carefully. What were Mr. Asogi's exact words last night?
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here.
Another opinion?
Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No. Mr. Asogi intended to consult his close friend on the matter. To see if, between them, they might be able to help him in some way, no doubt.
No. Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you had made sure of what Mr. Asogi was looking at. Things may have ended very differently if you had.
Roof! Miss Pavlova. I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did. And that will never change. I hope you'll never forget that.
sorry. Really. I'm so sorry. What have I done?
You killed my best friend. I think that's what you did. And so at long last, I don't know who this
Yeah, it's
is,
you.
but the mystery surrounding the tragic accident at the SS Protea was finally laid to rest. And now I have one less friend in the world.
Yay.
Woohoo!
7:14 p.m.
What will happen to Miss Pavlova now then?
Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British Police Scotland Yard.
What about the fact she ran away from Russia? Won't the Russians try to
Repatriate.
repatriate her? Dang, I've never seen that word before.
Apparently, the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort that all out.
Mr. Jones can do that.
He can do anything.
I guess so. So she won't be going back to Russia then?
No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life.
Oh, ouch. I see.
I'm sorry.
See, man, Stroganoff?
I wanted to help our angel, no matter what. But I didn't think about you. About how you lost good friend. I will go with Nina. I'll give myself to British police.
That's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Cosmo's death feels like such a waste, but... well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you?
Duh. Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm gonna have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan.
Yes. I did stow away after all. I couldn't really expect any different.
So, you should get back to your cabin now.
Okay. It looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it even begun then. To think that only days ago, Cosmo and I were laughing together about how we'd tear up the streets of London. That seems like a distant memory now. Oh, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Suxado-san? What are you doing with that sword? Oh,
Naruto-san.
please don't cut me down.
I didn't know you'd returned.
Oh, well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Osanaga just told me I should pack. You know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that.
I still can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over. Just like that.
What happens every day? Susato-san.
He had such grand ideas for his visit to Great Britain. So many dreams. And now they've been cruelly taken away. Just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now we know the truth. That it was just an accident. Just a silly series of mishaps. It's too much, Naruto-san. It's just too much.
Yes, I know.
I wish there was something I could say. Oh, whoops. Inspector.
My duty is to see Asuka-san safely to Great Britain. But I failed. And caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I have let everyone down.
You didn't do
And I will
anything
do
wrong.
anything to make up for my terrible blunder.
Nobody blames you, Inspector. And I'm free again now. At least, what? Huh?
You thought it was Hosonaga, but it was actually me in the first place. Surprise, Mr. Naruhodo?
What is the meaning of this?
Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head, I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting.
Sorry?
So I decided to restore them. For old time's sake, shall we say. You're a stowaway, after all.
You think this is funny?
I think it is very, very funny. Yes.
I'll steal your hat.
No. Mr. Sholmes. We do appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you. From the bottom of my heart. Not at all. Not at all. And though it's a little late, may I offer my sincere condolences. The loss of your companion is truly heartrending. I hope that you'll be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor. I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking the next port, in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened.
What? Wait a minute. It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was the stowaway.
The terms of the study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be one lawyer and one assistant.
Was to be.
In the light of Mr. Oski's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead.
Oh no. I don't care for me, but... Poor Sasato-san.
My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely.
But
But there is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know no other lawyer. Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid. Oh, but anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo?
I'm not a lawyer!
You will be.
Yes. Guess whether I want to or not. Mr. Sato,
Yes?
do you think perhaps I might be able to do it?
Ah! But you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, unless... Are you studying law?
No, I'm not, but
I'm sorry. In that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work. But as I said, there is still more than a month before we reach England's shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo?
yes, I have a month in which to study, to learn what I must to become a lawyer in Great Britain.
Mr. Naruhodo? That's ridiculous. Are you seriously suggesting anybody can learn all that in just 40 days?
There's only one way to find out. Oh, work my fingers to the bone, Inspector. Every single day. Will you let me try? And if, by the time we reach Great Britain, I haven't learned enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate.
But why put yourself in such a difficult position?
For Cosima. He said that there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit too. I will become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Mr. Sato?
I think it's a wonderful idea.
Thank you.
So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say? Are you serious? Dead serious. 1 lawyer and 1 assistant. The numbers are indisputable. No, it's madness. Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree? Fascinating? Duty and rules are the dull routine of existence that we all abhor. Give us interest. Give us fascination. Speak for yourself. Besides, qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters is his character. No?
Dang, that's deep.
Of course, my boy. I am the great detective Herlock Sholmes. And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. From the early hours of this morning until this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion, and despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. I think I like him a little bit. Very well.
Hey!
Now I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice.
Inspector!
After all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here. Oh, thank you, Inspector. If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. I need to get beat up again. I mean, I need to discuss what to do next and how best to make my report. Are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder. Would you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer?
I would be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant, after all.
Thank you.
And, Mr. Naruhodo, I'd like you to take charge of this. The sort of luck and pluck, I mean...
What, me? Are you sure?
I'm sure it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted.
Now I can cut people down to size.
That's right, in the name of justice. Its name is Karuma. It's a great sword that's been the Asogi clan for generations.
Very well. I accept. I'll treasure it always. So then, Mr. Sato, it seems we'll be working together for some time come yet.
It will be an honor, Mr. Naruhodo. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom. We shall fill every spare moment with study. Right, Gohan?
Dang. Aw, man. Yes, that's exactly what I need.
But, before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you, too.
Goodness. What is it?
Please throw me to the ground. 3 times.
What?
I should never have doubted you. You were Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. And no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior.
No! No, you were in shock. You just found out about me stowing away. And the cabin doors locked on
No!
the...
I won't let you make excuses for me.
No, frick.
Whatever the circumstances, I should never have thrown you. And not just once, but 5 times!
Hi. That number keeps creeping up, doesn't it?
Please, you must. Just take hold of me and throw me. Do it. Yeet. Don't even think about it.
Oh no, I don't even know. I don't even know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life.
Like this. Whoosh. Very wise, Mr. Naruhodo. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training. Oh, Mr. Sholmes.
I observed your throwing technique several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed.
When did he see that?
I presume that'd be a form of Japanese wrestling.
Oh, well, in a way. It's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jujutsu technique.
Apparently it's called the Susato takedown. At least your head's swimming, believe me.
How beguiling. I am a practitioner of the combative arts myself. I am a somewhat accomplished boxer.
There he goes, dancing around again.
I wanted to be so kind as to instruct me on the technique of your arresting throw.
Yes, I'd be honored.
Wait. Hold on. Then let's not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madam. Wait, hold on.
Oh, of course. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry?
Hiya!
What? Ah! Why?
As you can see, you throw from the abdomen.
Oh yes, arresting indeed. And that is what you termed the Susato takedown, is it?
Actually, no. That was Susato's squash.
And so, as the life faded from my eyes...
God, in my groggy state of consciousness. A scene from an evening recently spent at Kosovo flickered into my mind. I must be reliving all my previous things before I die. Oh. Karma?
That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asagi clan.
Can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a study tour is more than a little irregular, surely.
A Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't part it from my katana. Karima guides me. I truly believe that.
So its name compels its wielders to slice evil in two? Not that you would need much compelling.
On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain. And I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I appreciate you seeing it through with me.
Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
That important thing he had to do. I still don't know what it was. I'm going to see the place for myself and work it out. In Great Britain's capital, London.
The end.
Gosh. That whole thing was so crazy. There wasn't like any attempt on his life. It was just...
It was all an accident.
Oops.
But hey! That's gonna be it for the episode. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Check the links in the description. Keep an eye for community posts. And as always, we'll see you then.
See you then.